Is Anna channeling her twin, or is something far darker emerging? Oh, darlings, this first story is one of the most genuinely fascinating psychological mysteries General Hospital has ever constructed, because what is happening with Anna right now goes deeper than hallucinations, deeper than trauma. We may be watching the emergence of something that connects all the way back to a secret that was buried for decades, something about identity and memory and the particular horror of not knowing where you end and someone else begins. Let us go back to the history that makes this theory so compelling. Anna and her twin Alexandra were separated almost from birth. They grew up not knowing the other existed. They spent years working on opposite sides of the intelligence world, Anna with the WSB, Alexandra embedded in the DVX, before the truth of what connected them finally surfaced. And when it did, it came with a revelation that shook Anna to her foundations. Memory. Specifically, memories that Anna had been carrying for years that were not hers. They belonged to Alexandra. Scientific experimentation, the kind that pushed boundaries that should never have been pushed, had transferred pieces of Alexandra's experience directly into Anna's mind. And the most painful of those transferred memories was the one about Peter. The night he was conceived. The secret Anna had been carrying about something she believed she had done, something she had buried and managed and felt guilty about, turned out not to be hers at all. It was Alexandra's. Alexandra, who had been with Faison. Alexandra, who was Peter's mother. Anna spent years believing she had done something she had not done. She carried guilt for a night she was not present for. And that particular form of psychological violation, having someone else's experience embedded inside you as your own, leaves marks that conventional healing cannot fully reach. Alexandra is gone. She fell from a boat, shot into cold water. Her body was never recovered, which in Port Charles, as we all know, means the certainty of death is always slightly less than it appears. But here is the theory that is building. What if the months of gaslighting and psychological trauma that Anna endured under Ross did not just damage her? What if they cracked something open? What if the memory transfer experiments from years ago left a door somewhere in Anna's mind, and the sustained pressure of everything she went through pushed that door open just enough for something on the other side to start coming through? Kevin went through something like this once. After losing his twin to what he believed was death, the grief and guilt manifested in a way that scared everyone around him. He channeled his twins so completely that the line between who he was and who he was grieving blurred in terrifying ways. Could Anna be channeling Alexandra? Could those moments where something shifts in her eyes, where she seems to step briefly into a different version of herself, be connected to a twin who may or may not still be alive somewhere? And could Peter, appearing in her visions, be the connective tissue between Anna's fractured mind and the Alexandra part of herself that is trying to surface? Maxie's absence leaves a hole, and Port Charles feels it. Now, darlings, let us step back for just a moment from the story happening on screen and talk about something that the General Hospital fan community is genuinely frustrated about, and rightfully so. Because there is a character at the center of one of this summer's most significant storylines who has been completely absent from it. And her absence has left a gap that the story has not been able to fully bridge.
Maxie.
Her name comes up in almost every conversation about the Cassius revelation. Because nobody has more right to be at the center of this particular truth than she does. She loved Nathan. She grieved Nathan. She built her life around the loss of Nathan and eventually found her way forward with someone else. And the revelation that the man who came back was not Nathan at all, was his identical twin, wearing his face, speaking with his voice, inhabiting the space Nathan left behind. That is a story that belongs to Maxie more than almost anyone. She deserves to have her reaction shown. She deserves to be the person who processes this out loud, who sits with what it means that something about the man who came back felt different even if she could not name it. She deserves to be the one who helps James understand what happened rather than leaving that impossible conversation to Cody, who handled it with love, but who should never have had to carry it alone. The absence has been felt, and the fan community is saying so clearly and consistently. The show has had temporary recasts in situations like this before. It has been done carefully and with respect for the actress and the character. The precedent exists. And this particular storyline, one of the most significant identity revelations General Hospital has produced, needed Maxie's perspective in a way that could not be substituted. What happens next for this character, when she eventually returns and has to absorb everything that happened while she was gone, that is going to be a significant and meaningful story. And we hope the show gives it the full weight it deserves when that moment comes. Willow shocks Chase, Nina explodes at Jack, and Lulu drops a bombshell on Sunny. And now, darlings, let us do a full sweep of everything landing in Port Charles this Monday, because this day is absolutely packed and every single conversation happening across the city is going to have consequences. Let us start with Willow, because this woman has apparently not absorbed any of the lessons that the universe has been trying to teach her at significant volume for months. She tracks Chase down at the Quartermain residence. She stands across from a man who just had one of the most important and honest conversations of his marriage, a conversation directly about how his closeness to Willow has been damaging the life he has built with Brooklyn, and she asks him how he would feel about a trip to Washington with her. Chase's face in that moment says everything. The shock is real. And the realization that appears to be quietly dawning on Willow herself, that whatever she has been telling herself about only wanting friendship, the dynamic she keeps reaching for is not friendship, that realization is not comfortable for her. She may be coming face to face with the truth about what she actually wants from Chase, and what the impossibility of that looks like from where she is standing now. Meanwhile, Tracy is sitting in a courtroom looking like someone who has been handed a situation she has complicated feelings about. She asks whoever is across from her what the catch is, which tells you everything about Tracy's particular relationship with situations that require her cooperation. She agrees eventually, and whatever she has agreed to, it is going to matter. Molly is at the police department talking to Laura with an urgency that suggests a decision has been made. Molly is going to need help. The book tour is pulling in one direction, the legal case in another. Laura is being recruited into whatever Molly needs to navigate this transition. And the trial machinery is turning in ways that are starting to involve everyone. Joe and Ezra are having an exchange that is doing the particular thing that Joe does, cutting through pretense with a directness that makes guilty people squirm and innocent people appreciate him more than they expected to. Ezra looks annoyed. Joe looks like a man who knows exactly what he is doing. And then there is Nina, who apparently brought Jack home after an evening that got somewhat out of hand, during which he may have misread her intentions in a way that she finds genuinely appalling. She calls him something that is entirely appropriate for the moment. The look on her face suggests a reckoning is happening right there in that room. Whether it ends in a slap or something considerably warmer is the question Port Charles is debating with enormous enthusiasm. And finally, Lulu sits down with Sunny, and she tells him what he probably already suspected but has not heard confirmed. Jason did not shoot Ross. Rocco did. And Jason, being exactly who he has always been, stepped in front of the consequences to protect a young man who had two parents to go home to while Danny only had one. Sunny hears all of it. And whatever complicated feeling moves through him in that moment, gratitude, guilt, a new understanding of the sacrifice his best friend made, it is going to sit with him for a long time. Port Charles is electric this Monday, darlings. Anna's standing at the edge of a mystery about her own identity. Maxie's absence, leaving a genuine hole in a story that needed her voice. And a day full of conversations that are going to shift the ground underneath everyone having them.